Hello, my name is Sarah Anderson, and today we're going to be talking about Mary Dyer. Now, for this assignment, I read Anne G. Myles' article From Monster to Martyr, representing Mary Dyer. In this article, she claims that Dyer does not receive enough historical recognition when compared to Anne Hutchinson, another martyr in the Quaker movement and everything. And Myles, the author, can ask her audience to consider how Mary Dyer should fit into the larger scheme of American history, particularly when talking about the conflict between the Quakers and the Puritans. Now, after reading this article, I wanted to look into what exactly is Dyer's legacy, because as Myles said, that Dyer doesn't get as much recognition as she deserves. And so I looked into that, and a couple of articles came up that I wanted to present to you guys. So the first one is by Stella Setka. Her article is named A Picture of Piety, the Remaking of Mary Dyer as a True Woman in Arthur's Home Magazine. Now, the Home Magazine, this part of the title in Stella Setka's work, is a magazine that was written in the 1800s. And in this magazine, had a whole bunch of articles written to inspire women to be better housewives, to be better mothers, and so on. But also with an inspirational tone. And so in this article, one of the people they point to is Mary Dyer. They call her a true woman because of her innocence and spirituality. That's directly from the article. Now, the problem that arises with this article, according to Setka, is that while they acknowledge her spirituality and her innocence in reference to her constantly trying to advance her cause with the Quakers, they conveniently overlook the fact that she was also focused on rebelling against the traditional church and going up against the council, even after she had been banned from Massachusetts and so on. And so they conveniently overlook that, but that is a part of her legacy. Another article by a man named Ean High, historian, called it The Devil and the Disease, Early Representation of Quaker Women in the Atlantic World. He explains the consequences of actions like what Dyer did, and where women were considered to be witches or involved in devilment because of the way they went up against the church. Now remember, women and Quakers, it didn't matter, men or women, that went up against the traditional church were called heretics and accused of blasphemy and many other things, along with witchcraft and devilment. Dyer herself was accused of having some sort of curse on her because of a miscarriage where the infant was stillborn and extremely disfigured. And so those are a couple elements of Dyer's legacy. Now, finally, I wanted to bring this all together as we're talking about Dyer's legacy in U.S. history. Point to the article that we read last week, which is Carla Cardinian Pestana's article, The Quaker Executions as Myth and History. Now, in this article, Pestana focuses on the legacy of Quakers and Puritans and how they're remembered in history. One direct quote that she has is that while Quakers could go on the offensive, fashioning it their new identity for themselves by revisioning it the early witnesses of their faith, the Puritans were forced to take up the defensive. And basically saying that the Quakers were able to go on, make a new legacy for themselves, while the Puritans had to constantly defend themselves for the actions that they had. And this brings a key point in whether we're remembering Dyer or remembering actions of the Puritans, of John Winthrop. We need to remember that we have to provide an accurate and fair assessment of what both parties were trying to accomplish during these conflicts. So that's what I have. Thank you very much.